Good day, beautiful being. Welcome to the Serendipitous deck sermon, where I listen to different cards that individually showed up for me along the path through many years, and then went going through them one after another. I think there's 46 altogether. Today's card is A for Ants. It was a rare non-deck of cards card. This is the back, also kind of for my own remembering when I go and make a note of these in a big book. There's a word for that. I will probably think of it later. Anyhow, if you hear lawnmowers outside, I doubt this will pick it up. There's lawnmowers outside, and I don't want the window to be closed because I'm airing out the room right now. We have some incense going, and it's nice cleansing of any kind of stagnant energies that are going on, which just felt apt because I have read this card before making the recording this week. And so I will just get into the meaning of it. In case though you were not aware, there are 4 planets right now. Pluto, Mercury, Mars, and Venus are all in Aquarius, which slightly matched up with stuff that was being said here as far as energies, but there was a lot more water energy with this. Aquarius is an air sign. It is definitely pro change. It's pro creativity as well, and so those energies are sort of housed in this. Also, it says, it's probably backwards, Creative Child Games is the deck that this came from, and there's like 2 wee ants. So there are the sounds of creek waters, like a riverside, which I realized were actually waves. I kind of thought there was like lots of little pebbles and it made me think of a creek, but waves coming in gently. The consistency and there being a sure thing that the waves continue is really the kind of essence of what was being shown to me there. Particularly and it moves on down here, the energies of doing things, remembering the path or growth is step by step, little by little, steady energy. It definitely was not like this. When I think of the word steady, I always Taurus energy because of like balance, because of earth energy. But this had more to do with the steadiness that one finds when they start to accept change, and the unknown in general, rather than the steadiness of I know what the next step is and I know where this is going, and I am grounded on the earth. And like that's an important part in a sense of actually being like grounded as you move forward in change and in the unknown, but specifically with the energy of this. So that is probably what I will send out at the end of this if you would like to stay around and feel that come through as a Reiki healing. It's specifically asked to be read by my sacral chakra. Normally I'll hold it to my heart or my lips, sometimes my actual throat, and a lot of the times my third eye, and it'll pull like a different direction, like maybe it's connected to a different chakra, or like has the energy maybe of a certain one, but this one was like, oh no, I need to be like at the sacral chakra, which is a chakra that is to do with our energy center, to do with change and creative energies. 333. I keep seeing the angel numbers today. I saw the 111 as well, which is beautiful. Okay, other things that I have written, because a lot of it just ends up being blah, as it's coming through. I didn't necessarily organize this beforehand. So we have this feeling of where I was sitting, reading and listening to this card was like flipped in a mirror style, like there is another room parallel to the space that I'm in, or like there is always, in a sense, a parallel version of what's going on in the space that you are taking up, where it is mirroring and watching your every move, but in a way of that you're in control. And it's like something is waiting for you to lead it as an energy. So you're in control rather than it being like someone's like observing you in a creepy way, kind of like there's another room. Anyway, they do want a little bit of control apparently, but anyway. So quietness was a big thing with this. Like there was not a whole lot of scurrying energy or words coming through, or imagery. Perchance it was always like very gentle energy and very gentle, like the waves were gentle, and then there was like squishy grass at one point, but that kind of came and went very quickly. And yeah, just quietness and observance, repeating, but stretches out and clears, stagnant. Oh yeah, okay, so that was where like it felt as though, okay, so something's like repetitive, but if that's the nature of something, we tend to think that it's somehow a stagnated version of itself rather than expanding and changing. But this repetition was more to do with like how, and it kind of brings it back to waves as well, where it's like it's never letting something stagnate then. Even if it's got a repetitive motion, the stretches and the movement of it are clearing out always, in a very cyclical and like, you know, it'll, what's the word I'm looking for? Sure thing, basically, kind of way. And then I got this kind of feeling of mist slowly rolling in. So it's like there's this gentle protection as you're moving through all of this. A lot of this imagery makes sense as I end up getting to the kind of actual, like, oh, that's what it is at the end of this. So I love this will tie together, if it's not landing for you. But also I think that the imagery is important because it could be something that just calls out to anyone who is listening in this. And yeah, seeing familiarity just reminds you that you're not alone in whatever journey you're going through, and something that you have experienced or have thought of is seen. You're being seen. You are being watched over. And I'll get there. We'll say, okay. So the comfort of green, squishy grass, yes, and then sacral chakra, and then step by step, little by little, steady energy, but not Taurus. Said this already. More like air and water. And the air and water mix was kind of like this, there's like a clarity to the energy, and also something where it's like very wise and it's been around a really long time. Like wind and water energy surpasses most energies we kind of encounter today, right? And so there's wisdom. It's changeable though. This is the other part of it. Like earth shifts and fire can do different things. They all have their own way of being a part of change. Both air and water are, two birds up there, cool, very forgiving in a malleable way, at the same time as being intensely strong in their own way. If they wanted to like terrorize and destroy something, they absolutely can. However, they mostly are like the kind of divine feminine of like, okay, well, I will shape and move around this, but I'm also going to very, very much go the same like direction that I was going in the first place. But like there's, yeah, I don't know if I have to explain water in that way, but you get it. Hopefully. Yeah, it's accepting of change, at the same time as knowing itself. So pulls out a, oh yes, so then there was this feeling like, and it occurred for me, but like there's a release, like this water, definite water, chargeable, changeable, definite, in their movement of like, I will adapt, I will continue down this path, I know where I'm going, but I'm also willing to accept the changes that come along that path. And it's wisdom in that kind of action, especially if we try to embody that with the way that we move through our lives in human form. And we don't necessarily come to a point where we're allowing a certain release, and then sometimes that release is pulled out of us, you know, when like something happens, occurs, and all of a sudden now you're crying or yelling or whatever the release comes as about way deeper stuff that you didn't end up dealing with or feeling through, and now it's coming out in some other way. So pulls a release that you have yet to feel through. And this kind of action, side note from what we're saying here, you may be the one that experienced the thing that now has manifested as energies within you that need to be released. But never forget that in that experience, you're a part of an all and a whole. So take your time with whatever it is you're moving through. It is up to you and the right time for it to come through and everything. But there is a responsibility that I would like remind myself of as much as it, where it's not just my energy and my life that I'm affecting when I don't allow some releases. That is felt in the all. And it's like, there's a bit of a duty to look after yourself in that way, to look after your soul self and your deepest self and your inner child and whatever part of you is in pain because of something, to listen to it, to feel it, to allow it the space to be, and then to release it. Like, that is your job when you come across something like that. Unfortunately, sometimes people that haven't dealt with their shit put this stuff onto us, which is why I also said be kind to yourself through this, because it's not always necessarily our own shit to heal. But yeah, it can still affect us, so so knowing that can be helpful. Anyway, so building slow and back to the card, building slowly and sensically, like it makes sense, and that was like Jenga to me. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, but if you're building something and it's sensible card, like, why would it make any sense to use Jenga? Things are literally made to fall down. That's the game. And so the whole point is that you're placing piece after piece, and like, it answers. Being okay that it all begins again. Like, things end, things fall apart, things fall down. But because, and though the tower, where this writing is all slanty, it's hard to read. Okay. Because the tower doesn't stand anymore, doesn't mean the pieces aren't still there. There's a bright side, always. And it can always be built again. And then what kind of came in was this energy of the way, the grace, I suppose, with which to move through something like that, and acceptance of, okay, it all fell down, let's build it back up again. Maybe let's build it differently, like, let's go about this differently. More so, what is something to change not always is the external effort you're putting in, but the way that you internally are experiencing the valleys as much as the peaks, you know? So the glide of a skater was the energy that came in right after that, where it was like just I guess that's like a skiing noise, but you know, like, they're on their, like, a competent ice skater, and the way that they glide across the ice and such, and that was the grace that came in with that. So then it kind of like actually spoke something, which is ironic, because it was like shh. So what comes after shh is work in silence, work in trust, work in the moment, in the knowing that you are aided, is where all these energies kind of come together, by the way. Okay. But not by puppet strings that are external. The aid, the support, comes from within. There is a fire that is being tended to within you by angelic beings. And they watch you, waiting for the moment that they can support. But they are not there to lead you. You must remember, you are the universe. And they serve and are on your team. And so what they patiently wait to be in support of, they are patient for you to realize that you are on their team too. You co-create this reality. You are a co-conspirator of the universe. Might have also heard that. And so I have two things that are mantras, I guess, or affirmations that can help with bringing your mindset back to, like, I work on the me, and the universe works on everything that I cannot control that is external for me, and we meet in the middle, and dreams come true, wishes come true, the path is laid forward, the change is easy, we glide into the future that we're seeing for ourselves as a species, as a being, as the universe. And so the two things are, what's the best that could happen? What's the best that could happen? What is the best that could happen? Okay? Instead of what's the worst that could happen. What is the best that could happen? And then the next one is, okay, universe, let's see how good this can get. Like, you're speaking to a team member, you and this other entity, which is everything that is external from you. How good can this really get? Let's see. Let's work together. How good can this really get? Okay, and then, before I close up, one of the things that was spoke right at the end was wash your face and it's 1441. Wash your face and notice the water and thank the water. And it's not only a mindful exercise of like being in the moment, but I guess in a sense you could look at that the same way as like I needed my face cleaned, or like I wanted to splash water on my face to refresh or whatever. And at the same time, the water is here to be a part of our lives, to be ingested, to be within us, to be a part of this existence as well. And it's not inanimate, just like you're not inanimate. But like, see these parts as a part of your team. They're here to support you. I know that has a lot to do with like a mindset in the first place of not feeling like the world's against you and such, and that is not necessarily what I have the help for today, because everyone's coming to that with their own point of view. But yeah, what I will say just as a, you know, it's worth trusting. What is the best that could happen? Okay, and so actually, you know what I'm going to send through as far as a Reiki healing. So if you're not into that, they can just head on out now. And thank you very much for being here and for being in first place. And I am going to charge the energy that I channel through and ask that it be charged with the grace to move through change like a competent ice skater on very beautiful, sharp skates and like a really large ice skating rink, so you have tons of space, that kind of freedom and speed. But mostly steady forward motion. Yeah, with grace, kindness, and ease within the self. It's about ease, mostly. Okay. Ooh, okay, yeah, alrighty. And so as you receive this, say to yourself, I accept this Reiki healing, because the consent brings it through. But also, I would say take 3 deep breaths, either during or after it, or any time after it. Actually, I'm hearing, okay, cool. That can it can bring you back to the energy of what it is that you receive here, of ease, of I can get through this. We're just going to move slow. We're going to take it slower than I was a minute ago. We're going to be kind to ourselves. Ease. And I allow this ease within myself as I move through this moment. That is not for someone to give me externally. Okay. Alrighty. One moment. I will call it in. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for being. Thank you for allowing yourself ease on this journey and kindness within. See you next time.